League team of the season. As it's the last day of the season tomorrow, I thought I would make my Premier League team of the season. Palmer's just won the Young Player of the Season, and Foden's won the Player of the Season. Both deserved, really, in my personal opinion. But let's get into the team of the season. If you like this type of video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I will do more of these in the upcoming seasons. So let's start with the keeper. There's a few options for this. Emi Martinez, Ederson, Alisson, and David Raya. Personally, I've gone with Ederson because even though City defensively haven't been as good as previous seasons, I think in terms of individual performance, this is one of the best seasons individually that I've seen from Ederson, so I've gone with him. Some people might disagree with it, but it's not the end of the world because it is only my opinion, and don't take it too seriously if you don't agree with it. Right back, there's a few options. Ben White, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Carl Walker. But I've gone for Ben White because I think in terms of consistent-wise, he's been the most consistent right back in the league this season. If it was a few maybe weeks ago, I might have gone with Trent because Trent did have like a good season up until the last few months where he did sort of fall off a little bit. So that's why I've gone for Ben White. And Carl Walker's been inconsistent throughout a lot of the season because I remember at the start of the season he was quite poor, but then towards the end of the season he picked up. And I don't think that's good enough to be in the team of the season. Centre-backs, they do kind of pick themselves, in my personal opinion. Not many options for this one, and it's Saliba and Gabriel of Arsenal. They're the reason why Arsenal have been in the title race this season, and they're the reason why Arsenal have been so difficult to break down this season. So, fair play to Saliba and Gabriel. They are making my team as centre-backs. On to left-back, I've gone for Gvardiol because I don't think this has been a great season individually for left-backs. I don't think there's really been a standout left-back performer. But because Gvardiol's picked up a lot in the second half of the season and he scored some crucial goals for City, I've put him in at left-back in my team because I think it's not been a great season for left-backs this year. So there's not been that many options, but I'm gone for Gvardiol. In the midfield, first midfielder, Martin Odegaard. I think he's been really good for Arsenal this season. Without him this season, Arsenal would have struggled to score as many goals as they have because he's their best creative outlet. And you could argue that he's been the best midfielder in the Premier League this season. Certainly consistency-wise anyway. And I think he doesn't really get the credit that he deserves. I think a lot of credit goes to players like Bruno Fernandes, Szoboszlai, stuff like that. But I think Odegaard's a bit underrated and I think he deserves to be in the Premier League team of the season for this season. Alongside him, I've got Declan Rice. Even though he's not really a central midfielder, I still thought I'd have to put him in the team because he's been excellent this season. Arguably the best signing from any club in the league this season. And I think without him, Arsenal would have really struggled because Arsenal did have a good start in 11 last year, but they didn't really have the depth. Because if Partey got injured last season, I think they would have struggled. But because of bringing in Rice, they've not really had to worry about injuries in that sort of position. But I think Rice has been excellent this season, one of the best players in the league, and therefore that's why he gets into my team. Alongside Rice, I've gone for Rodri. He might not have been as good as last season, but he still deserves to be in the team of the season for this season, in my personal opinion. I think... It's since the 5th of February last season that he lost a game in the league, and that was against Spurs when we lost 1-0 where Harry Kane scored. He's still not lost. I know he did lose against Real Madrid, and he did lose against Arsenal in the Community Shield, but he's still yet to lose in a game in 90 minutes since then. So until that happens, that record that he's got of not losing since then still technically exists. But he gets into my team anyway. Mr. Consistent Rodri, and I think he's probably the most consistent player that we've got at the football club. And I don't know how he didn't make it into the player of the season debate, and I don't know how he didn't get a higher ranking in the Ballon d'Or last year either. But Rodri is such a good player, world class, and he gets into my team of the season. Now on to the front three. Strikers, there was a few options. Alexander Isak of Newcastle, Ollie Watkins, Solanke of Bournemouth, and Haaland of City. But I've gone for Haaland. He might not have been as good as last year, but you've got to take into account that he's had more injuries this year compared to last year. And it was never really going to be easy for him to hit the heights of last season, scoring 36 league goals and 52 goals in all competition. So I don't really blame him for not scoring as many, but he's still got 27 league goals, and it still looks like that he's going to win the Golden Boot fairly comfortably. Whereas a couple of weeks ago, it looked like there might have been a few players challenging him, like the likes of Palmer and Isak, but it looks like he's pulled away from those players now. But I think Haaland gets him, and deservedly so in my personal opinion, because he's still scored quite a lot of big goals this year for City, and 27 league goals in a season where he's been out for like 2 or 3 months is still fairly good, so fair play to Haaland. On the wing now, on the 2 wings, I've got Cole Palmer of Chelsea. Without him, I think Chelsea would have been in a top 10 battle, but because of his goals, they've managed to get into a race for Europe. And I think, even though he has scored a lot of penalty goals, you've still got to give him credit, because I don't think anyone really expected him to go into this Chelsea side, which was a mess last season, and do as well as what he's done. So fair play to Palmer, and he's well deserving of his place in this team, and he also deserves the Young Player of the Season award, which he did win. The last position is Phil Foden. Got the Player of the Season. Best City player this season in my personal opinion. Scored loads of big goals, and I think he's well deserving of this spot in this team. It would have been good to put him in the midfield, because that's where he's played a lot of games this season. But because of how well Rice has done, I thought it was a bit harsh to leave him out. So that's why I had to play Foden in his non-natural position and play Rice in the midfield. So that's why he's on the wing and not in his position of natural midfield. But Fury against Usyk is on tonight. I don't know how many of you that watch this channel are actually boxing like fans and supporters. So if you do want to see that, drop a like on this video, and I'll do a reaction to that fight after it's finished, because it is one of the biggest fights in recent times. So if you do want me to do a reaction, I can easily do that. But it's just whether you'd actually watch it and be interested in my views on it, because I'm not sure how many of you that watch the channel are boxing fans. So let me know in the comments if you want to see that, and also like the video, share and subscribe. We're not too far away from 370, we're on 363, so that's the mark that I want to hit next, and I will see you guys in the next one, which will be either my reaction to Fury against Usyk, if you want to see that, or my reaction to the City West Ham game tomorrow, where hopefully we will be celebrating a 4th consecutive title, and we will be very happy with that. See you guys in the next one. Have a lovely rest of your Saturday.